Avast, me hearties! Welcome to Three Sheets to the Wind. Welcome to the Bendover affair, a naval campaign using fighting sail rules. This scenario is an encounter. If you've been watching all of my fighting sail videos, you'll have seen that I've gone through the week for the Royal Naval toasts. There remains only one. It is the overarching one, and it is to rum, sodomy and the lash. Cheers. Well, Patrice Eau de Parfum, the French chef de division, is feeling very happy with himself. Far from running the British blockade back to France, he's decided to stick around because in the last meeting with the two sides, he slaughtered the British, 2 third-raters sunk, and HMS Merkin, the flagship, struck its colours, with Sabati Bendover being captured. It's not all plain sailing yet, though. He's still outnumbered and outgunned by the British West Africa Squadron. So he's hatched a cunning plan in order to entice the British to battle in this final encounter. The two foes meet on the high seas, but it's uncharted territory. In the blue corner then, the French are unchanged, with Patrice Eau de Parfum in his flagship Ducon with Pierre Perdu, and Maurice Blancmange in the Pouffe with Charles Martinet in the 5th-rate Flaneur. The remnants of the British squadron are commanded by Commodore Reggie Sidebottom. Well, we've seen him before and he's already done a pretty good job disrupting the French slave convoy. He has 3 third-raters with him. His flagship will be HMS Incontinent, captained by James Whittle, and the other 2 third-raters, HMS Bulge with Lieutenant Commander John Balsack, and HMS Paddle by Isaac Redcheek. It's the high seas, but it is uncharted territory, and there are a few nasty little rocks poking around, and also the remnants of a fog bank lingering. Eau de Parfum's cunning idea is to send forward Flaneur, entice the British on a chase past the fog bank, and then be pounced on by the other 2 third-raters. It's a dangerous tactic, but it's all he can think of. However, it may work as the British have just seen the lone Flaneur and are about to give chase. The wind is a gentle breeze from the west, but it is not enough to blow the fog bank away from the rocks, and that will stay there for the scenario. Fleet morale is 15 for the French and 18 for the British. Here's the British fleet reaching, and they've got Flaneur in their sights just to the right of the fog, in amongst those rocks there. Let's see what happens. Initiative is with the British. So the front ship is HMS Incontinent, captained by James Whittle, and on board is obviously Reggie Sidebottom, Commodore. 4's needed. Just gets the 1. Bulge is next. 2. Just follow up behind, bear away a bit, and paddle at the rear, bringing up the beer and the gear. 3. Flaneur is close hauled. 7 sailing dice, needs 5s. Oh dear, just gets the 1. Well, not going to be silly here, she will actually immediately wear away. Ducon is reaching, 5 dice, needs 4s, gets 3. She knows where Flaneur is, needs to close this gap. And Pouffe bringing up the rear, just the 1. She all seems to be lagging behind. Editor, initiative, goes with the British again. 4's required for the Incontinent, and that's 2 sailing points. Bulge gets 3, and I think she will start to come alongside and paddle. 3. Coming into line abreast. Flaneur is reaching now, needs 4s. Gets 3. Now she will dive beyond those rocks, which will give her cover. I'm going to allow that. She might attempt to loop behind the British later on. Ducon also reaching, needs 4s. Rerolling 1s, I keep forgetting that, but we don't need it there. 4 sailing points. And I think she will start to harden up. And the Pouffe. 4. Finally gets a bit of a move on. End of turn. Initiative. British again. They've got the bit between their teeth. Still reaching. Incontinent. Needs 4s. Gets 3. They're okay on that course at the moment, and of course they can now see the Dukon coming out of the fog. No change with the course as yet. Bulge on the left. Only gets the 1 bonus move. And paddle on the right. Right, I'm not sailing brilliantly at the moment. Flanner is reaching, needs 4s, just gets the 1. Well, she'll just come around a little bit. Dukon reaching, needs 4s, gets 3. Reroll the 1. Urdu's a navigator, no. Getting pretty close now. And the Pouffe, just the 2. And I tell you what, old Flanner with Charles Martinet has manoeuvred around these rocks lovely. Got the paddle in the sights. Long range, 3 dives sitting on 5s. Just the 1 hit. Hull of 7. Unsurprisingly saved. End of turn. Incontinent, still reaching these 4s, just gets the 1. The wind has dropped here, not ideal for the British. I think they continue on the course. Bulge near us gets 3. And paddle over on the right gets 2. Now Flanner needs to be careful that she doesn't get herself in a broadside with paddle. 7 dice, needs 4s. Just gets the 1. She'll carry on that course because paddle is out of arc at the moment. Dukon still reaching. 4 sailing points. Remains at 4. Ooh, look at that. What a nifty manoeuvre. Around the rocks, and she's crossed the T. And finally the Pouffe at the rear. 2. The 3 British ships line abreast here are all out of arc for firing. They've got the Flanner to the right is going to open fire, and now the Dukon has crossed the T. Flanner is medium range to paddle. 3 dice, hitting on 4s. And that is 3 hits, no explosions. Hull of 7. 2 saves, 1 hit, 1 anchor token. That will slow old Isaac Redcheek down. And now the Dukon has got a raking shot, medium range against the Incontinent in the centre of that line abreast. Hitting on 4s, explosions on 6s. Well, that's 5 hits with 1 explosion. 6 hits. Hull of 7. Save 2 for a total of 4. And that is an anchor token and 2 damage. Good shooting, Perdu. End of turn. Initiative. Well, this would be interesting if the French can get it. But they don't. I'll do the Bulge first. Reaching, needs 4s. Gets 2. Right, I think she will come around to the port side slightly. Broadsiding Dukon. Now the Incontinent needs 6s because of the anchor token. 2. She will also come around to port. Like so. And a discipline test. 6 dice. No, does not reduce damage. And finally paddle, also anchor tokened, needs 6s. Also gets 2. Well, the British have done well there. All coming round onto their port side. Dukon is going to be in some bother. Discipline test for paddle, and Isaac Redcheek is an authoritarian, so I can reroll 1s. Well, we don't need to. That anchor token is gone. So check this out, all 3 third raters broadside on to Dukon. She better move out of the way, otherwise it's curtains, I think. 5 sailing dice, and you know what? She's in irons. Needs 6s. Well, that's 1, and she can re-roll a 1. Purdue is a navigator. Lucky, 2 sailing points. Now, what can she do? And the problem for her, she got the rocks in the way. And I think that's the best she could have done, because now Incontinent and Paddle are out of arc. Good sailing. Now, what's old Flanner up to? 7 dice, needing 4s. And that is a cracking 6 sailing points. Well, she will first of all tack for 2. And with that manoeuvre, Charles Martinet has put the Flaneur right up the backside of Paddle for a raking shot, close range. Let's do Maurice Blancmange in the Pouffe first. Reaching these 4s, just gets the 2. I think she'll just carry on that course for the moment. Don't want to get too close. Right, gunnery. So James Whittle in the Incontinent will open fire on the Pouffe. It's long range and it's only 4 dice because of the damage. However, he is a marksman. 1 hit. Hull of 7. And that is easily saved. Paddle will do exactly the same. Long range, but this time 8 dice. And that's 4 hits. 3 saves. Pouffe gets an anchor token. And now Balzac in the bowls will open fire. He's also a marksman. It's medium range. 8 dice, hitting on 4s. 1 reroll. 4 hits. And that is 3 saves, so 1 anchor token. Ducon gets to return fire. Pierre Perdue orders tirer, and they're going to fire on the Incontinent. 4 hits, 1 explosion. Stays at 4. Hull of 7. Saves 3. Gets an anchor token, unless already had one. Well, he's already got one, so no effect. And finally, Flaneur, raking shot up the rear of Paddle. Close range, 3 dice. Explosions on 5s. 2 hits, 1 explosion. 3 hits, another explosion. 4 hits. That is a disastrous 1 save. 3 hits, it's an anchor and a damage token. And finally, old Blancmange in Pouffe, almost forgot about him. He will also fight the Incontinent, long range, 7 dice. It's a fantastic 4 hits. Just the 2 saves. So Incontinent gets another damage. Up to 2. All ships were engaged in gunnery in that last round, and the British got the slightly worst of it. But I think Ducon may be in a bit of bother here. Initiative goes to the British. All the British now are close haul. They need 5s. Bulge first. Just gets the 1. Well, of course, he's got his anchor token, so needs 6s. The 1. Discipline test. Got to do some damage reduction there. Easily done. 1 goes. And finally, Paddle. Now, has a bit of bother with old matey up his backside. Needs 6s, just gets the 1. What's he going to do there? I think he'll wear, actually. Nice manoeuvring. Now, Ducon, also with an anchor token, needs 6s. Oh, look at that, gets 2. Well, what to do here? Well, I think she has to go and get out the arc of Incontinent. And perhaps she can do something a bit nasty. Discipline test, just the 5 dice for her. Needs a 6 and gets it. So that anchor token goes. Now over to the Flaneur. Can she manoeuvre around on the Paddle again? She's close hauled and needs 5s. And again, look at that cracking roll, 4. Well, again, what a fantastic manoeuvre. I mean, she's only got a small number of guns, but could do some serious damage. And finally the Pouffe, also with an anchor token, needing 6s, gets 2. Coming in to help the Ducon. Discipline test. Yes, so the French are doing well here. On the gunnery front, Bulge will be firing at Ducon. Incontinent will be firing at the Pouffe, raking shot, but long range. And Paddle will also be firing at Ducon. But look at the damage, these are half effect. Balzac firing first in the Bulge at the Ducon. 4 hits, 2 rerolls. 6 hits, 4 explosions. 8 hits, massive. And that's 4 saves, that's pretty good going. But it is an anchor token and 2 damage. Paddle will join in the fun, but it's only 4 dice for him and medium range. And that's all misses, terrible. And finally Incontinent firing at the Pouffe, raking shot, but unfortunately long range. 2 hits, 1 reroll. Just the 2. And that is easily saved. So now we switch to the nimble flaneur up the backside of Paddle. Close range, raking. 3 hits, 1 explosion. 4 hits, another explosion. 5 hits, another explosion. 6 hits, another explosion. This is disastrous. Oh god, look at that. 7 hits. Saves 4. It's another damage. And finally Ducon will open fire on Incontinent. Half dies because of the damage. 3 hits, 2 explosions. 5 hits. And that's 3 saves, so another damage. End of turn. Well, this is absolutely ding-dong at the moment. British ships are damaged quite heavily, and that reflects in the fleet morale. They're on 12 and the French are on 13, if I've done my sums correctly. Initiative. What's the British? We will start with Balzac in the Bulge. Close hold, 4 dice, needs 5s. Gets 2. And I'm thinking he'll just carry on that course and he's going to cut off the Ducon. Whittle in the Incontinent needs a 6 because of the anchor and gets 1. And I'm thinking she'll have to bear away slightly or harden up to the wind, and she will turn to port slightly so she can get Ducon in arc. And finally Paddle, also needing 6s because of the anchor token, just gets the 1. Well, I think she will wear again so she can potentially have a go at Flaneur. Before I go any further, I've got to do some damage reduction with discipline test. Firstly on Incontinent. Yes, so damage reduced by 1. And secondly on the Paddle. No. But Isaac Redcheek is an authoritarian, can reroll the 2 1s. Still no. Obviously not giving them enough of the lash. And now it's the French with Ducon needing 6s. 1. However, there's a reroll of 1 for Perdue. Not this time. Well, it's dangerous stuff, but I think she has to go forward and bear away a little bit to get out the arc of Incontinent. And these two are desperately close now. What's Flanner up to? Close hold, needs 5s. Gets 3. So I'll tell you what, she can wear for 1. And I think she can broadside the Incontinent and Paddle at the same time. Fantastic. And finally the Pouffe, she is in irons, needs 6s. Lucky gets 1, otherwise she'd get an anchor token. I think I will bring her this way, put her more in irons, like so. She is in arc of the Paddle. Bulge, desperate close range stuff against the Ducon here. 8 dice, hitting on 3s. Well, it's a good job Balzac is a marksman. Look at all those 1s he can reroll. So 5 hits with 2 explosions. and that's just 5 hits. Hull of 7. Saves 4. 3 hits, which is another damage. I'm afraid Incontinent is just out of arc. So we're over to Paddle, who just is in arc with old matey Pouffe. Medium range, half dice because of the damage. 2 hits, 1 explosion. And that's just the 2 hits. Hull of 7, and that is easily saved. I'll say easily saved, only just. No damage. First up for the French will be Ducon, half dice because of the damage, close range. 3 hits, 1 explosion. 4 hits. Hull of 7. But that is piss poor rolling. Only saves 2, so 2 hits. 1 anchor, 1 damage. So now the Pouffe will open fire. Tirez, shouts Blancmange. And it's medium range with 7 dice. 5 hits, 1 explosion. Ooh, look at that. 6 hits. I'll have 7. Saves 3. 3 hits. Another damage. Up to 3. And finally, the gutsy Charles Martinet, captain of the Flaneur, is going to broadside on the starboard side and broadside on the port side. Double whammy. Firstly, on the Paddle, it's not a raking shot, but it is close range. 1 hit, 1 explosion. Just the 1 hit. What an anticlimax. Easily saved. But against the Incoherent, it is a raking shot. 3 hits, 2 explosions. 5 hits, another explosion. 6 hits, another explosion. Oh God, 7 hits. Here we go again. Ooh, there we go. Right, 7 in total. Nasty. Hull of 7. It's a great saving roll there of 5, so he just takes the 1 damage. That could have been a lot worse. To be fair to Eau de Parfum, I didn't do a discipline test for the Ducon after the move, so I've got to do that now because she is in danger of striking colours. 5 dice, needs a 6, and gets it, so that damage would have been on 1 and goes up to 2 after the assault by Bulge. Now it's a critical time for initiative, and Eau de Parfum will play his revolutionary card, gets a +3 on the dice. Oh, look at that. 6-5. My word. So let's start with the Ducon. She has an anchor token and is in irons, so needs 6s obviously. 1. Now what's she do? I think she bears away. Discipline test, try to remember this time. No. So stays without 2 damage. The Pouffe now, in irons, needs 6s. 1. To watch out for those rocks. And Flaneur, who is now reaching, needing 4s, gets 2. And she is just going to go there and hopefully line up another rake to the rear of Paddle. Okie dokie, Bulge. Close hold needs 5s, but anchor token needs 6s. 1. There we go. They're going to stay in broadside-tastic, but obviously Ducon will fire first. Incontinent has done bugger all so far, stuck in the middle, being a bit useless. Needs 6s. Doesn't get any, doesn't move. Discipline test. Yes, so damage reduced by 1. And obviously discipline test for the Bulge. Yes, so that damage goes as well. And finally Paddle, also with an anchor token, needs 6s. Doesn't get 1, doesn't move. Look at Flaneur. Discipline test. Well, at least the damage has been reduced by 1. Otherwise she'd be striking colours. Goodness me. Well, this is it. It's critical stuff. It's the French firing first. Pierre Perdue orders tirez for the port battery. Close range. 3 hits, 2 explosions. Total of 5 hits. Hull of 7 for the Bulge.
3 saves, and that's 2 hits. Bulge picks up a damage. And finally for the French, the Flanner will open fire, a raking shot up the rear again. Close range. 3 hits, 1 explosion. 4 hits. Hull of 7. Absolutely shocking. So that is 1 save, that's 3 hits. Picks up another damage. Back to John Ballsack in the Bulge. Close range, half dice. 4 hits, 3 explosions. 7 hits, massive stonk. 3 saves, so that's net 4. Boom! Ducon is gone. Eau de Parfum goes down, and Pierre Perdu is lost. What a catastrophe for the French. Well, Eau de Parfum and Pierre Perdu pushed their luck now, and they have truly come a cropper. It's the next turn, and it is initiative. And that goes to the French. Let's do the Flanner first. She's reaching, needs 4s, just gets the 2 actually. But I think she is probably going to, what's she going to do? Turn there and just go there, keeping paddle in the arc. And Pouffe has done bugger all. She is close hold, needs 5s, gets 1. Not a lot she can do there, to be honest. She'll wear. Yeah, that's not a bad move. Bulge needs 6s because of the anchor token. Doesn't get any, doesn't move. Discipline test. No, so she's just sat there floundering. Incontinent also needs 6s because of the anchor token. No, doesn't move. Discipline test. Yes. So damage control has sorted that out. And finally Paddle also needs 6s because the anchor token just gets the 1. Desperately needs a good discipline test, otherwise she's going to strike her colours. Oh, look at that, nice one. Well, from the gunnery perspective, Pouffe has moved up behind the Incontinent and will open fire here, and Flanner will open fire on Paddle. Medium range for the Pouffe. 4 hits, 2 explosions. 6 hits, wrong. 5 hits. Hull of 7. Ooh, saves 3, so that's 2 hits. Another damage. And the Flanner will open fire on Paddle. 1 hit. Which, funny old thing, is easily saved. Perhaps Martinet's luck has run out. Close range but half dice for the Paddle. 3 hits, 2 explosions. 4 hits. But Flanner has only got a hull of 3 and saves 1. 1 anchor, 1 damage. Initiative is with the British. Right, so the Bulge first, needing 6s, gets 1. She will wear. Discipline test. Yes. Damage sorted. Whittle in the Incontinent. Also needing 6s. Oh, look at that cracking roll. 3. She will also wear. That's 1. That's her 3. Discipline test. Yes, look at this. The British sailors are getting their damage sorted out. And Paddle also needing 6s because of the anchor token. Yes, gets the 1. She is very close to those rocks. However, and a discipline test. And look at that, Jolly Jack pulls through. The lash is having its effect. Right, Flanner with an anchor token needs 6s. Ooh, look at that, doesn't get any. Discipline test of 4. Doesn't get any, and therefore that damage remains. That's a disaster. She's becalmed. And what's happening with the Pouffe? She's running, needs 4s. 1. And has to take evasive action. I don't think she can actually. Right, that's going to be a collision. Disaster. Well, Blancmange has got to do a sailing test with 5 dice. Needs a 6, otherwise they're going to bump into each other. Oh dear. However, the Flaneur can also try and avoid, which she does. So they don't collide. Well, I think they only lose a morale point if they actually collide, but Flaneur has managed to do an evasive manoeuvre, so they're okay. However, they're a sitting duck there. Gunnery, and it's the British first. Whittle in the Incontinent is a marksman, and he's going to go for Flaneur. Medium range, 8 dice. 4 hits, 1 reroll. 5 hits, 2 explosions. 6 hits. Hull of 3 for the Flaneur. 1 save, 5 hits. Well, Martinet had a cracking run there, but unfortunately Flaneur has been flammed. She's down, he's gone, and that is disaster for the French. And it does open up nicely. Isaac Redcheek in the paddle. Half dice firing close range, but it's a raking shot on the Pouffe. 4 hits, 2 explosions. 5 hits, another explosion. 6 hits. Hull of 7. 2 saves, 4 hits. Anchor token, 2 damage. That takes the French to 0 fleet morale if I've got it done right, and if not, I think it's time for them to strike their colours anyway. Blancmange takes down the tricolour. Well, can you believe that? Reggie Sidebottom has pulled that out the bag. That looked extremely dodgy for a while with the Dukon and the Flaneur running amok amongst the British flotilla, but they held their nerve. Their gunnery was superb at the end. They blew the Dukon out of the water. They smashed the Flaneur, and old Blancmange in the Pouffe has finally given up the ghost, and like I said, he has struck his colours. Hurrah and huzzah! Britain rules the waves off the West African coast. Well done. It's an extra rum ration all round for Jolly Jack.